Lastly, from my end, Saidu, what would you say to critics who believe that the NGC party has lost that sort of credibility and trust among, not just the members, like the general populace, and also critics that tend to look at the NGC party as not a serious contender?
Well, I want to encourage them to continue believe in the ideology of NGC. Things have not worked well, and their expectations were watered down. But we have put mechanisms in place to do a lot of activities and to achieve our objectives. So they must have the confidence and they must have the trust that NGC is with them to achieve its aims and objectives and to shape the will of the people. Party and reapply for membership. They have to take the matter off from courts, and the party will look into their concerns. The party will look into the apology letter and consider to join them again.
Quickly, when you say reapply, are they applying as fresh members of the party?
Of course, as new members of the party. They will apply as new members of the party.
Is that what the constitution of the NGC says?
Of course, yes. If you...
Would you help us with a section that speaks to same?
If, for example, section 56 of the NGC party constitution, if I'm not mistaken, that anyone who does anything that will lead the party into disrepute or public ridicule, right? As well as anyone who willfully commits any breach of the party constitution consistently and engage in anti-party activity will have some penalties. One would suspend, will reprimand, where there is a defraud, and finally we expel. So all of those processes have been met. So if they want to join the party again, they should apply as new members, and the party will consider joining them.
Saidu, as you know, we're talking around issues of preparedness. Now, with 2028 in view in less than 3 years, if I may put it that way, what is the preparedness level of the NGC party, in other words, to ensure that the NGC party does not become irrelevant?
Yeah, firstly, we've gone through and our convention, National Delegates Conference in December 15 at the Management Hall in Makeni, and we took certain resolution. And one of the resolutions that we need to fill in blank spaces, fill in positions. We did that because the National Delegates Conference has that power to fill in positions, vacant positions. Secondly, we have a new leadership now, and we have a very robust executive that is determined, ready to move the NGC party forward. And as I said earlier, next month we will start the media engagement, doing our monthly press briefings, press releases, engaging the media, and also we will engage in meeting the people. We'll start at regions. We have a dedicated team now to go through the region to see what is happening. Yeah. In terms of membership drive strategy, we have a committee already set up to see how the NGC party can mobilize as many members as possible. We will start our primaries very soon, maybe by September, October, starting from Ward Executive Committee to seek fresh mandates by electing Ward Executive Committee onto constituency, district, region, as well as national officers at the National Delegates Conference. Yeah, so we are prepared, we are determined, and I want to use this opportunity to thank most of our sponsors, most of our membership in the diaspora, because they are doing exemplary well in supporting the party to do its activity. It is not easy to do, but it is easy to say. To maintain a political party, it's something huge. Presently, we have a new office at Wilkinson Road, and we have also set up other offices, paid rent, we have office cleaners, and we are meeting PPRC criteria so as to consistently continue with the party.
Help us to understand, because you keep on emphasizing on the strong leadership or executive of the NGC party. How solid or strong is that executive, or are we also, I wouldn't want to say looking forward to see, are we looking at it like what happened, you know, within the party, whereas the party was much more concerned on a particular charismatic leader? Because you keep on emphasizing that, you know, now that the NGC has, you know, this sort of strong executive or leadership. Help us understand that.
Yes, and the leadership I'm talking about is Mohamed Kouma, who is the current chairman and leader of our party. And we have also a very good Secretary General who has been consistently consistent in doing the work of NGC. We have diaspora members who have that kind of capacity, experts from different disciplines. So that is why I said we have a very strong executive who can drive change. I mean, who have the ability to move the NGC party from where it is now and to compete competitively when it comes to national elections.
What's the current strength of the NGC party, say in the provincial areas, as the NGC presence in all districts of Sierra Leone?
Not only districts, the NGC presence is from Ward Executive Committee, right? We have the structure, Ward Executive Committee, Constituency Executive Committee, District Executive Committee. We have a very comprehensive executive structure. So when it comes to strength of the executive, it is there.
I ask,
and when it comes to membership,
offices in these...
We have offices all over the districts. We have offices all over the district. We always meet PPRC requirements. We always. That is why we are different from other political parties.
In what sense?
Yeah, thank God. We have people who believe in the ideology of the NGC country force. We have people who will always support us financially from the diaspora executive, and we have other solid members who are willing at all times to support the NGC financially and all its activities.
But the outcome of seem extremely different from the realities, more so with the outcome of election results. It shows that people do buy in the ideologies of the two major political parties in Sierra Leone, the SLPP and that of the APC, rather than that of the NGC.
I mean, it's a long journey. If you want to compete with NGC, with SLPP and that of APC, you must be consistent. One day, Sierra Leoneans will realize and make the change. Remember, we will do all the needful. But if people have been deceived by regions, by tribes, by color, I mean, that kind of thought mentality which they have had will be difficult to just eliminate in few years.
But that was what...
So it's a gradual process. We believe we are making inroads. And we have no doubt that by the time the people of Sierra Leone realizes the true concept of the NGC putting Sierra Leone first, they would have made the necessary decision to elect the NGC party to govern Sierra Leone.
But that was essentially what once a member of the NGC came with when we saw the NGC pulled several seats in Cambia district, largely as a result of the fact that he hailed from Cambia district and essentially speaks the language of the natives within Cambia districts, and among other things. It seemed Cambia was the stronghold of the NGC. More so when my colleague did mention that the 2023 elections speaks contrary to what we all saw when NGC was indeed tagged the third force of Sierra Leone in terms of politics.
Well, the stronghold of NGC is Sierra Leone. It just happened that we have the highest seats in Cambia, but we have other councillor seats in Kabbalah, Falaba at that time. So we'll move on with that kind of trajectory, and we believe that the people of Sierra Leone have started realizing that they have to make another choice, different from SLPP and that of APC.
Because of time, I'd love to come in a bit. Would you agree to critics who say that the NGC party is only visible around elections, and after the elections, they disappear automatically?
That is
Do
not
you
true.
agree to that?
No, that is not true. Because we are participating in governance issues, we are participating in so many activities, whether it's from the social aspect, the economic aspect. So we are not like other political parties. And like I said, by next month, you'll begin to see the media engagement, you'll begin to see a lot of activities. You must plan. If you plan properly, you will successfully implement the activities which you have planned.
Saidu, you may or may not want to agree with me, but there has been a lot of controversies, when it comes to the NGC party. And given the collapse of trust in institutions, how will the NGC work towards regaining that level of trust, among its members and also the general populace?
Yeah, controversy, you cannot take controversies out from politics.
That's the daily saying that,
So
all these politicians.
it's part of politics. But with the activities we are about embarking on, we believe the people will have that kind of trust, will always have that kind of trust and confidence in the NGC party, because they see the NGC party as the party that speaks for the people of Sierra Leone. They see the NGC party as the party that informs them, that tells them the reality of things, and that educates them about certain issues which they ought to know.
Saidu, I want to put it to you that most of the offices you claim the NGC had in the provinces are now dwelling houses. Saidu, I want to put it to you that most of the offices you did mention the NGC has in the provinces are now dwelling houses.
That is not true also. Check with the PPIC. The PPIC is a moral.
It is not just the PPIC, but the visibility on the ground.
No, the visibility. I'm telling you that of late we've rented about 4 to 5 offices in different quarters. Remember, these offices are not owned by NGC. So the landlord has that kind of power to say, well, I don't need you in my premises. So what the NGC have done, we are now procuring land to build our own offices in order to avoid transfer from one place to another. In most of the districts, we have purchased land to build our own offices. But I'm telling you, the presence of NGC offices is in all of the districts. And PPIC will clarify that to you.
Lastly, from my end, Saidu, what would you say to critics who believe that the NGC party has lost that sort of credibility and trust among, not just the members, like the general populace, and also critics that tend to look at the NGC party as not a serious contender?
Well, I want to encourage them to continue to believe in the ideology of NGC. Things have not worked well, and their expectations were watered down. but we have put mechanisms in place to do a lot of activities and to achieve our objectives. So they must have the confidence and they must have the trust that NGC is with them to achieve its aims and objectives and to shape the will of the people.
We've had a couple of messages, Saidu, that we'll have to take on our Facebook page, and we'll see ways for you to respond to those messages, and perhaps we'll continue the conversation. First of all, mine is from Mark 10 from New England Vale, who says, the side of the NGC has experienced significant turmoil, including mass resignations of senior members and a disputed alliance with the ruling SLPP. What is the NGC party's current status?
And another one is from Samuel Lewis. He's saying there was an era that the NGC was a movement, but it is arguably slowly losing its relevance.
Amadou also says, Amadou Kagbo says, the NGC is dead. Your political party's office in Bo is a dwelling house. I think the person just supports my earlier submission.
And this is from Mosdi. He's saying, as much as the betrayal of the former leader of the NGC party dented the morale of the party to an extent of no coming back, I still prefer anything or any party over these two deceptive and incompetent parties, which is the SLPP and the APC.
Mystic Dwazak says NGC is a dead party. They came with the pretense to be genuine, creating an impression as they are the best. But in the end, 80% of them have returned back to their actual roots. Honestly, it will be difficult for third force to succeed in Sierra Leone political space because of the insincerity of the third force parties. The NGC is a clear indication.
And Edwina John saying the NGC lost momentum because it couldn't build strong nationwide grassroots structures, was resource constrained, tied its identity too much to one leader, and diluted its independent stance through the alliance with SLPP. As a result, many Sierra Leoneans reverted to the APC and SLPP rivalry, which remains deeply entrenched. The NGC lost momentum because it couldn't build strong nationwide grassroots structures. Okay, I think that was a double message.
Mohamed Ali Jallo says there are members that left the NGC who've returned back. The party is back under chair and leader Mohamed Koroma.
And Mohamed Ali Jallo says, well said, Saidu Abbas, the internal leaders body is very proactive.
A lot of messages, but I seem to be having an issue with my internet. Mine,
okay.
I will continue with same.
Mohamed Ali again says the NGC, a constitutional party, just made expelled legally through the NDC. Saidu Abbas, correct. And is it okay now?
No, continue please.
And Yake Kalon is saying APC versus SLPP debate again another week, same episode. Those are the messages and we can take at the moment. You may want to quickly respond as we try to wrap up this segment.
Yes, and I'll take the first one, which says and talk about significant turmoil that members are leaving the NGC party. Yes, we do agree. Members, we are leaving the NGC party, but as a result of the dynamic leadership we have now, a lot of members have returned. That is one. And it happens, like other political parties, even the APC and SLPP, you see members are leaving, and some are coming. So that is a blessing for us. Yeah, and the NGC relevance will always be at the apex of the minds of Sierra Leoneans. So in terms of relevance, in as much as we have reduced on our activities, but I will say we have not lost our relevance because we are participating on governance issues, we are participating on social issues, and we are participating in promoting the democracy. Lastly, we have structured executive nationwide from ward level onto national officers. So with the composition of the NGC party, I will say with alacrity that the NGC structure is intact, because most of the people or members who left the party have returned. And that is a blessing for the NGC party. We've also gathered that kind of momentum to execute most of the planned activities which we have now. So this, I want to use this opportunity finally to encourage our membership across the country we as an executive are doing our best to achieve the said objective for which we were elected for, and that Jesmed Suma and others are political renegades and subterfuge. They should not encourage them. In any quarter, they have been expelled from the party, and the PPRC have their press release released yesterday, which states categorically clear that the chairman and leader, which they as moral guarantors, as political institution that regulates political party, is Mohamed Koroma. So the current legitimate chairman and leader, who was voted for at a national delegate conference by the delegates, members of the NGC party, is Mohamed Koroma. Alongside, I was also voted in as the public relations officer at that national delegates conference. So I want to encourage Sierra Leoneans to have hope in the NGC party that one day and at one time we will achieve our dreams. They should not renege in their efforts and in their promises. They should always continue to support the drive, the activities of the NGC party. And lastly, I want to thank the members of our diaspora for their invaluable contribution, their financial support, as well as key and substantive stakeholders in Sierra Leone who are members of the NGC party and the membership at large for their contributions in paying their monthly subscription and in giving the necessary support, logistically and financial support, to the party for its continuity.
Thank you so much, Saido Abbas Dumbuya, the National Publicity Secretary for the NGC party. Thanks for being here this morning and laying the foundation on what's really happening within the party and the plans for the party as we move towards the general elections in 2028.